Hey everybody, it's Brenda Santos with Menson Studios again. So in today's video, we're going to talk about copyrights. I know, it is not the sexiest of topics, but it is very important to our graphic design business, our t-shirt business, embroidery, screen printing, and all of that. So before we get started, please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe down below. Also, give this video a thumbs up and a like, and hit that bell button so you know whenever I upload a new video. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, and please come and join our Apparel Decorators Forum on Facebook. It's a group. Try to upload some really cool stuff for you guys. I do a little couple of giveaways here and there, but yeah, it's a small group, so we would love to have you join us. All right, so let's get started. Okay, copyright. So what is it? Okay, so the easiest way I can explain it to you is, let me tell you, like, let's talk about a little scenario. Okay, so let's imagine that you got an order for 100 polo shirts. Okay, you could decorate them however you like. That's really not super important. So screen print, vinyl, embroidery, for the sake of this example. Okay, let's also say that you have children. So you have got to do all of the things that come along with having kids. You have to feed them, you have to get them ready for school. If you're doing online classes, which is crazy right now because a lot of our kiddos are doing that, you have to help them prepare for that, if not do lessons. Maybe you have a second job. Maybe your embroidery t-shirt business is a second job for you. So your main job, you're working at that all day. Okay, you have errands to run for your home. My point is, it's going to take you a little while to get to this order. You finally get to the order. It takes about 10 minutes per polo, let's say, to embroider. You work, you get all of these polos done, and you finally get them all folded, and you set them up in, say, you have a front room in your shop. So the next day, I walk in bright and early. I come in and I see these sitting here, and I am like, oh my God, these are the coolest polos I've ever seen in my life. I think they would sell like crazy. So then, put them in a box, put them in my car, I go down the street, and I sell them. I sell them for $40 each, okay? I don't give you a penny. I keep all the money. I did zero work. Okay, so to me, that is how I describe copyright infringement. So my background is, I am a graphic designer. I am also a professional photographer, both commercial and portrait. So I do a lot of original design. And recently, it has come to my attention that someone, an organization that I had worked with, I'm not going to mention who it is, basically took all of the images that I not only photographed, but I did mock-ups for them of t-shirts and spirit items and things like that. I created a PDF catalog for their organization, also did a website for them, and I am a perfectionist when it comes to my business. It is my family name. I want to make sure that everything is done very professionally. The quality is amazing. So consequently, I am a small business, so I cannot offer these huge, warehouse prices where it's like $2 per shirt, right? So I was really disappointed to find out that towards the end of last year, I reached out to them because we prepare for the next year, kind of towards the last of the school year, right? So we prepare for this year. I did get an email asking for a copy of the PDF catalog because they had misplaced it. So in good faith, I sent it to them. And anyway, long story short, they basically took my name off of everything, used my same designs, my same images, and they found another business that would sell them for almost half the price. I don't know how they're making the money, but anyway, that's not my business. My business is the fact that I know the amount of time that was taken away from my children, my husband, my parents, um, the amount of time that I worked here late. I reshot and re-edited to make sure that it was the best possible look to that mock-up so they could get the most profit from it because it was for fundraisers. So it was really disappointing, especially since we'd had a long relationship with this organization, to do that. So I find that there are two, maybe three categories of people that violate copyrights. All right, so there are the people that they have no idea they're doing it. They're new to business. They're trying to figure out, how do I get merchandise? How do I sell a t-shirt? They know they want to make t-shirts. They know that they love it and they want to be successful. So they look on Etsy, they look online, and they see all these Disney products. They see, all the cool trendy stuff, and everybody's doing it. So they think, okay, well, I'm new to business, let's do it. So they are just blissfully unaware that this is a problem and that it is not legal to do that. Then there are the people that fall into the category that they just blatantly don't care. They know that it's a violation. I've also been on forums where people are like, "Oh yeah, I steal these people's work." Major companies, people's work. I know they're going to shut my business down on Etsy, but I just reopen under a different name. Okay, so to me, that is just a blatant disregard for somebody else's time, effort, and work. So here's the deal. I'm not here to preach at you. You know how you want to run your business. You know your abilities to design and things like that. So I am, again, not here to judge anybody. It's just basically from the standpoint of being someone that puts an incredible amount of time and effort into each design and image that I do, and to make it great. I know what goes into doing that. And so to have somebody just blatantly take it is very disappointing and disheartening. But let's kind of move on from that. I do not profess to be an attorney. I've never said that, what I'm saying is legal. Definitely do your research, find out what works best for your company, make arrangements with people. But I am here to talk to you a little bit about some stuff that I found. Okay, so to kind of prove to you that they do come out and get you, they do come after the little guy. There's so many of them doing it that the likelihood that you're going to get caught and just really put out of business is kind of small. But the fact is if you are that company that gets caught, they can close you down and they can make you pay penalties for every shirt, every design that you've put out and you've sold. It can just be a nightmare. And if you've worked really hard to build up this business, it's devastating. So I'm going to put the links down to all this information below so you can go out and you can read it. So this was the most current one that I could find, just in quick research. So this is an article from, December of 2019, right? So Walt Disney is suing Disgear. And it looks like their logo says they were established in 2014. I'm going to hold this up. I don't know if you can see their logo. It is definitely the Mickey ears. Okay. They have created the line is adorable. It's really cute. Like, here's one of the shirts that they did. I'm going to hold it up so you can see it. It just says, physically I'm here, mentally I'm walking down Main Street eating my third Mickey bar. Okay, so if you are a Disney fan, you know that the Mickey bars are really cool. Main Street's a big deal, and people that go to the parks definitely want to do this. So if you go, I'm not going to go into depth about the article, but basically what it's saying is they are using Mickey Mouse, like this is Mickey Mouse. It says Mickey, and then it's got the established date. So what Disney is saying is you don't have the right to use that. This one's a Tangled inspired one where they talk about the lantern. So Disney is basically suing them. And I know what people are going to say. Disney is a multi-million-dollar company. They're huge. Is it going to hurt? The answer is yes. Really, honestly, and that's one of the arguments that I hear from people is that they make millions of dollars, right? How is my use of their logo, image, likeness going to hurt them? Well, when you multiply that by millions of people that do that, that ends up being a huge loss for these companies. So consequently, the price of merchandise goes up, the price of tickets to their parks go up because they have to recoup that loss, right? I'm sure they don't want to go after the mom and pop shop and put people out of business, but at the end of the day, it is a business and they need to protect their copyrights because then it would just be a free for all, right? So it's really not a great argument to say because these people have worked hard and have made themselves into a multi-million dollar company that I have the right to take their work. It's just as if you and I were working on something and somebody, like in the example I talked about earlier, came into your shop and took those shirts and sold them without your permission. I mean, it's like robbing you. You feel violated, right? Because that was a lot of work and a lot of effort that you put into those polos. So that's kind of a real world example of people getting. I've heard numerous things. I know, I think it's Ohio State put out a business, a company for using their logo. Harley Davidson has sued a company for doing shirts and things like that. So basically, what I'm trying to say is the likelihood that you get caught may be pretty slim, but it's really not worth it. Because it damages your reputation, it hurts you financially. You have to start over, and then just quite honestly, people don't trust you after that. So it's just kind of that's how I run my business. I try to run it with the highest integrity I can. So anyway, that's just kind of my little spiel on that, right? Okay, now moving on. Let's say you're new to business, you're like, how the heck am I going to get some designs? Well, there are a lot of places that you can get artwork that will allow you to use them. There's one of two ways to do it. You either are going to pay for a license, or you are going to make an agreement with somebody that is willing for you just to give them credit, right? Because they just enjoy doing it. And so back to my example. So let's say, reverse that. I come back into your shop. You still have those same polos sitting there. But let's say whoever you made those polos for canceled their order and you're stuck with these polos sitting here. Okay? I walk in. I say, oh my God, these polos are amazing. They would totally sell. If I take these polos and I sell them for $40 and I give you $20 and I keep 20, would you be okay with that? If that's acceptable to you, you say yes. So these could be polos that you would have had to just use as demos or, destroy, use them as scraps because they canceled this order, right? But if I'm willing to go sell them, I am paying you half of the cost or whatever price you agree upon for me to sell those. That's the best way I can describe licensing, right? So let's say you create a design and you are willing to take $100 for that design because you know that this is going to be mass produced by a big company. But let's say you create a design and you think like a small business is going to use it. You want to give them a break and you're like, hey, $20, give it to me, give me $20. You can print it, you can do whatever you want to with it. That is a license. And what a license is a fair agreement between the two people that they're getting a price that they're happy with to sell the artwork. They're giving the other person permission to use that artwork without any fear of coming back and suing them. So I will put some descriptions of some places. There are places that you can go like Shutterstock, what's the other one? Bigstock.com. All of those, you can pay like a licensing fee to use those. There are different levels. So like if you are going to use them in like a mass production, it may be very different price than, let's say, if you're printing 3 or 4 t-shirts, or if you're just using that particular piece of artwork, say for a website, and it's just going to be viewed and not printed or sold. There are usually restrictions on some of those. Some of them are commercial licenses, some of those are personal use licenses. So you just need to kind of do your research and understand where you're getting the artwork from. Okay, back to licensing. You cannot copyright a copyrighted image. So for example, let's say you did a gorgeous Mickey Mouse design, a Disney design. You cannot put your copyright on there and then be upset when somebody steals that design because you stole that design from Disney, unless you've paid the thousands of dollars in licensing fees for that, right? So, and just because someone on Etsy or on another forum sells a Mickey inspired or Mickey design, and I'm using Mickey just because that's the most common that I see. Um, uh, just because someone else makes it and they give you a license does not mean that it's legal. You can still get in trouble for using it. So you have to be really aware of who you're purchasing artwork from, who has licensing rights. So again, do your research. That being said, I came across an article, like a blog article, it's in Design Hill. And again, I will put the information. The lady that wrote it is Alice Jackson, and she's got some really great tips on copyright basics for t-shirt design do's and don'ts. Okay, so I printed this out for my notes. I'm going to run across just a quick couple of the don'ts. So basically, when you're creating a t-shirt design, you cannot use images, characters, and any figure that resembles anything taken from comic books, Cartoon Networks, movies, video games, and television shows. So basically, anything that you see that's branded, you can't use. You should not use logos, names, pictures of educational institutions, organizations, clubs, sports teams, musical groups, and artists. So for example, we live in Texas, we live in San Antonio. I see a ton of Spurs stuff floating around. Every time I see it, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how's that person not going to get sued? I always live my life as I am going to be the one that is going to get caught. Aside from just having the integrity not to steal somebody's work, I'm just like, I would be the one who did it the one time and I sold it and they would come down hard on me. So that is how I live my life. And you know what? People are going to find out. People are going to find out. You think they won't, but they do. I found out about this organization stealing my work. We'll give you another quick example. Again, I mentioned that I was a professional photographer. I went to a bridal show. I was marketing to brides at that time, and I decided I needed some displays. Well, I was new to the bridal market, so I had asked one of my best friends if she would please put on her wedding gown. And mind you, kudos to her because it was like 5 years after her wedding. Still fit beautifully, her wedding gown. Anyway, I digress. So I went out, I photographed her at a very beautiful venue that she had been photographed before. But, you know, we paid for the oh gosh, what's it called? The rental fee to use the site. Photographed her. The images came out gorgeous. I mean, they were absolutely beautiful. So I used those in my show. Well, I kid you not, I was setting up and another photographer stormed over, got into my face and said, "You're stealing my artwork." And I said, "No, I am not." And they said, "Yes, you are. Those are my images." And to be honest, I did not steal their work. I did photograph them in the same location, but it was 5 years later. It was, you know, something completely different. Luckily, she was there. She was able to vouch for me that I reshot the whole thing. Once he got to looking at it, he realized that it was my artwork and not his. So anyway, so what I'm trying to say is we live in a city of over 1 million people, right? And the odds of him being at that bridal show was pretty remote. But the fact is he still saw her in a photograph in her same dress in the same venue. But he came and thought that I had just reprinted her pictures and had passed them off as mine. The poses and everything were completely different, but I think he just recognized her and was really upset and thought that I had just ripped him off, but I did not. So what I'm trying to say is people will find out and they will call you on it, and again, it's bad for business. It's just bad for business. So don't use any photo artwork or caricatures of a celebrity. So using celebrities are a no-no. A lot of times that is their brand and they don't want you using it without permission or licensing. She says in here, find an attractive graphic or image that is not listed for commercial or free use. So let's say you run across something on the web and it doesn't say that you can use it for commercial use, then don't use it. Also, keep away from like memes and viral videos and things like that. So if you find like an image on the internet, I would not grab it, like do a screenshot of it and then create it and turn it into something, because if they don't say that you can buy the license or it has commercial use or they have free use, then it's definitely a no-no. What's the other thing? Keep away from the internet memes. Okay, we went over those. Don't use any image or graphics that you spot on social media and search engines to create your own t-shirt. So, like making something that says like Twitter or Instagram or TikTok, you definitely don't want to do. Also, this is a biggie. When it comes to including quotes on t-shirts, you want to avoid quoting anybody or anybody that is still alive. Um, and if they are deceased, you want to make sure that they have been deceased for over 70 years. I know that's so technical, right? And a lot of us see these cute, fun sayings, but the truth of the matter is you're really not supposed to use them. Um, you should also not use a quote from trademark material, literary works of art, and corporate slogans. So basically, when in doubt, if you're really concerned about it, just don't do it. Just don't do it. She goes over some do's. What I had mentioned earlier, there are some websites that you can get royalty-free stuff where people just love to create. They have these royalty-free sites where you can download them, and they're like, "Hey, I just love creating. It's a hobby. Use my stuff." A lot of times they'll just ask you to mention where you got the designs from. Um, so if there's anything in public domain, in this article it goes on to explain what public domain is. It's going to take a little while to describe it, but basically if it's out in public and it's common knowledge and they don't own the copyrights to it, then you definitely can use that. I'm going to go over a couple of quick do's because I know it can get tedious. I am going to put the link to her article on there so you can read it for yourself. So you can use symbols of national flags and other national symbols in your artwork. So they can't copyright the American flag because we're Americans. You can use it. And then, of course, what I mentioned earlier about the free sites that have like free photography, or you pay a certain fee to use that. So sometimes it's per image, sometimes it's a subscription. You just kind of have to look at their terms of agreement and see what you're signing up for. All right, and then she goes on to show you how to check for material, like copyrighted material. She's got kind of a website on here that you can go to. I'm going to be honest, didn't get a chance to visit it. I did have this video planned. It just so happened that, my copyrights were stolen and it just kind of ticked me off. So I thought, let's upload this video a little sooner. And then, just be a good business, just be a good person, and that's all we can ask anyone to do in business is just be reputable. Be a stand-up business owner, because it's just like the old rule, golden rule. Don't do anything to anybody else that you wouldn't want them to do to you. All of us are trying. All of us make mistakes. I know back in my early career, I used some images that were probably not ones I should have used just because I didn't know. And then as I got more seasoned and got into the business, and I understood why you shouldn't take artwork, then it made more sense to me. And, I started being a little more cognizant of copyrights, especially for my photographs, because I know how much work goes into that. I know a lot of people think, oh, you just click a button. But if you've ever done it, you know that there's a lot of editing, a lot of time, a lot of thought that goes into images and things like that. So if you wouldn't want somebody to come into your store, take your t-shirt, sell it without giving you anything or any credit, then don't take the artwork. So that's my little preachy moment about copyright. I just wanted to jump on here and address the issue so people at least had a foundation of some kind of knowledge. My little adage of, taking your shirts and selling them, or taking your shirts and giving you half, or whatever you guys agreed upon, should hopefully just kind of give you a little more to think about as far as copyrights. If you're the kind of person that doesn't care, this video is not going to change your mind. If you had no idea, this is going to give you some resources on where to find some artwork. You will get better at coming up with images that are inspired by things that are legal and are a win for everybody. So Anyway, yeah, so that is my talk on copyright. So if you guys have any questions about where I found this article, again, like I said, going to put the links down below. If you have any other questions about any other aspects of business, I'm thinking about doing stuff for like a marketing plan and a business plan, because I know that a lot of people fail to do that. I'm kind of guilty of that, and I have a master's degree in business, so um, I need to update my business plan, and so yeah, so that'll force me to update mine to give you some examples and help you guys out, establish businesses, kind of think out of the box, and help you guys newbies. Will help you have a place to get started. So yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped somebody and it gave you a little bit of information that you needed, or just was entertaining. So I will see you guys later. Again, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you again later. Bye.